I said it is the putting right that counts.
Mr. Speaker. Mr.
Order.
Speaker.
I call the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Talking of negligence, Mr. Speaker, one wonders what role the Attorney-General did not play in advice to the Prime Minister. He's full of sound and fury now, but obviously was pretty silent when it came to giving advice to the Prime Minister in July last year through to very recently. Mr. Speaker, some members of this House will be well aware of that comic strip, Spy versus Spy. You know, it was first seen in the Mad magazine in about 1961. And I'm pleased to say it's still going, Mr. Speaker. It's a great political satire, and many of us have had a good laugh over the years. Well, I have to say, in New Zealand over the past 2 weeks, we've seen behaviour straight out of the Mad magazine. And if it wasn't so serious, you could have believed the whole thing was a political spoof or political satire. I mean, we've just heard from the Attorney General about conspiracy theories. Someone was seen talking to someone up Lambton Quay. Well, I believe that most of us who walk up Lambton Quay meet somebody we know, maybe people we don't even like, and we might even talk to them. But heavens, this is now a conspiracy. But I have to say, I thought the whole thing was summed up this week in a cartoon by Emerson. Here it is. It says, Spy versus Lie. Spy versus Lie. And here we have GCSB as the black spy, and here we have John Key as the white spy saying, psst, I think they're on to us. Well, Mr. Speaker, I think that sums it up. And John Key has to get the award for the best shimmy in living memory, because he has been caught out. He's been caught out on his terminological inexactitudes over .com. He got caught out on his less than honest answers about the appointment of the director of GCSB. He said on Tuesday, I hardly knew him. He said on Thursday, well, our mums were friends. And then the following week, he said, well, you know, I did know him a bit better. He knew my brother. And it's been a moving feast as to did he know him or didn't he know him. The truth is, he knew him well enough to have his number in his telephone book. Well, I have to say, I don't think I've got any of my primary school friends' numbers actually in my phone. I did have a quick look to see if I had any. I haven't got them, but he does. He doesn't know them very well. He hardly remembers them, but there is the telephone number. He also got exposed over the dates, the times that he knew about illegal spying on 88 New Zealanders. And he got confused over what he knew and who, where and how. And, you know, it's really hard for him to keep up with a very tangled web that he has woven around this whole issue. And now he has performed a beautiful political shimmy. He shifted the blame from himself and his inadequacy onto inadequate legislation. Legislation that we heard from the Attorney-General that is inadequate, that is very badly drafted, that the National Party voted for, that they looked at the Select Committee and supported, and has been in place since 2003. Well, I have to say, Mr. Speaker, if you use the Prime Minister's standard of behaviour, he must step down from his position as the head of GCSB. He ought to stand down right away if he was to follow through with his own standard. After all, think of the standard he applied to Nick Smith, to Pansy Wong, to Richard Worth, to Phil Heatley, to Kate Wilkinson. He would be gone before breakfast if he applied that standard to his behaviour in terms of this whole issue. He is the only Prime Minister in the last decade who's been told that his agency was spying illegally. The only Prime Minister that has been told, and that is a fact, and he was told in July last year. He covered it up for 9 long months. It only came out in the Kitteridge report. Did he do something about it, as was asked today? Did he move to stop them spying illegally? No, he did not. He hoped it wouldn't come out, and he covered it up for 9 months. He had no plan in place as to what he was going to do. He put the issue on the back burner, Mr Speaker.
Sorry, Minister.
That's all right. That's fine, Mr Speaker. He put the issue on the back burner because he wanted to have all those photo opportunities over in China, but he got caught out. He got caught out, and New Zealanders, I believe, cannot have confidence in a leader with his record. They cannot have confidence in a leader that can't remember, that can't perform and covers up.
I call the Honourable Minister Tony Ryle.
Mr Speaker, it's quite